Hi, I'm Eliza Ryan, and this tool is Radius of Influence from the Adopting Toolkit. And like all the tools in the Adopting Toolkit, it's designed to give you access to multiple intelligences, 360 intelligence, and more choices in communicating and thinking. So Radius of Influence is basically about status, confidence, lack of status, lack of confidence. And giving you access to both your ability to increase your status and decrease your status for presentation purposes and for thinking purposes. So we'll go through this together. So first, I want you to draw in your mind's eye a little circle around where you're sitting or standing. So taking up just the amount of physical space you take up. A little circle around your feet or around your chair, and just take up the amount of space your physical self takes up. And notice your thoughts as you take up just this amount of space. You can either be looking at your computer or you can be kind of gazing at your desk or wherever you are. So just the amount of physical space you take up. That's your sphere and radius of influence. Now allow that sphere of influence, the radius of influence, to go out 2 feet in every direction. So the circle around you is about 2 feet in every direction, and fill up that sphere of influence, that radius of influence. Good, and allow the radius of influence to extend 6 feet in all directions. Notice how your thoughts maybe change, your breathing maybe changes, your body maybe relaxes. Notice what it's like to take up 6 feet. And now allow your radius of influence to extend 8 feet in every direction. Behind you too. And now allow your radius of influence to extend to all the corners of the room, taking up the full room. You can see how this particular radius would be helpful if you're giving a presentation, to be able to put the room at ease by just taking up the space of the whole room and having the influence over the whole room. And you can extend it beyond the walls of the room, out to the street. And if you'd like, you can just keep extending it and extending it and extending it for as far as you'd like. But now you can zoom it all the way back into your physical body. So just taking up the amount of space you take up physically. And notice the difference between that small space and the larger space that you were taking up a moment ago. And now just allow it to extend to your normal radius, which is usually between 2 and 6 feet, depending on the person. And notice how that feels. Great. So you can notice how in a given situation, like giving a presentation, you can expand the radius. Or in a different situation where maybe you want to lower your status because you're in a meeting with somebody who needs to have the higher status in order to have a dynamic work best for both of you, you can shrink your radius of influence. It's about giving you choices in how you engage and influence, really. Or in terms of multiple intelligences, you're going to be thinking differently if you are looking at the world through the lens of only taking up the amount of space your physical body takes up. That's a really small lens versus taking up the amount of space of your town. If that's your radius of influence, if you believe that that's how much space you take up and you experience that that's how much space you take up, that's a very different lens of confidence through which you're looking. So, so going through these radiuses, just kind of pushing them out and pulling them in is a way to kind of break habituated patterns of thinking, as well as practically increasing or decreasing how you're presenting in terms of confidence